Fit the runner, boy, you nigga, no question. You would run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm an 88 pack nigga, woof. I'm an 88 pack nigga, woof. I mean, day walker, drink blood, fangs out, full moon, motherfucker change like a hoe, nigga. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar.
Shout out to me for messing up my damn intro. 1 second, y'all. Miles, 1 second. Drew Titan, Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. This is how we starting off the week. Yeah, I don't mind. No diggity down. Marco, what's good? Stormy B man in the building.
What's going on?
Good, Marco? Before we get into the topic, I have back my guy, Miles Bailey. He got some news, man. Miles,
Boxing aficionado.
Boxing aficionado, man. What's going on, Miles? How you feel?
Oh man, a lot of things have happened since we last talked last Sunday because, like I said, I've been in this game 43 years, man, and a guy called me up maybe 2-3 days ago by the name of Donny Lalonde, the Golden Boy. That should be familiar with you guys.
I know Donny.
He had the fight won, but it was one of the most dramatic fights in '88. And again, it goes back to the guy I was talking about, my man Farad Muhammad Pinchbeck. He was his sparring partner for that fight. And for the Bobby Chaz fight, and Farad broke his arm in sparring, and I was his sparring partner. But anyway, to make a long story short, let's get on to what's going on in the breaking news. He has these two fighters from Syria and Libya, and the guys' names are Malik Zinad, Z-I-N-A-D, and Mohammed Bekdash, B-E-C-K-D-E-S-H. Malik is 20-0 with 16 knockouts, and Muhammad B is 24-0 with 16 knockouts. Mike McCallum is going to be training them, and the great thing about this, he's getting a title shot in South Africa on March 24th. The WBF light heavyweight champion. The contract is not signed yet, but it's in South Africa, so that's along with me, what I'm doing with my other team, the Global Boxing with Terry Hollis, that's on March 18th. Unless a tsunami hits, we're going to be doing that show in Cleveland, Ohio. So I want to bring this to all the people, and I'm going to bring Mike McCallum on the show. Whenever my guy here, Mr. Titan Drew says it's a go, because I talk to Mike every day. He's very excited about coming on, and hopefully we can get him back with Devin, because he's the one that got Devin Haney to be the top fighter that he is right now. And I got a couple of more guys that's working with me. I got my man Nirmo Lorick and Dan Garrido from Philly. They call him the Sensei. He gets all the Spanish fighters from Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. So I got a serious team ready to go. And I got a whole bunch of other guys, but I don't want to flood the show yet. I want to get you guys going so the next time we get it rolling, it'll be all right. And also Marcel Brown with Global Boxing Team is helping me and Terry. And the last guy is Richard Schwartz. I call him the rabbi. He's a cut man. He's been a school teacher and a physician, a phys ed for 36 years. He was part of Ring 10. But what we're going to do, this is the drop or the real showstopper that's going to help y'all, is that we're going to do something for the fighters. We're going to start a pension fund. So, because the teachers, the firemen, the police, everybody has a pension fund. These fighters after boxing have nothing to go to. So these are the guys that's going to spearhead it for the start. Reggie Sweet Johnson from Houston, Leon Muhammad, he's worked all around this boxing world for the last 40 years, and Richard Schwartz from Ring 10, but he's going to be doing something on his own because him and Ring 10 are kind of parting, but they're at the time taking care of Wilfredo Benitez, Livingstone Bramble, Gerald McClellan, who's blind. So it's a whole lineage of stuff going on, but I just wanted to get that in for the little 4 or 5 minutes And if you got any questions while I'm here, I'll let my brother there, Drew, take the floor and carry on from here.
Yeah, man, that's dope. We've had Reggie Johnson on the show a few times, and one of the major things we spoke on was a pension plan for these fighters. You know, it's not the most money in the world, but every bit of money does help. You know, and I know we was talking behind the scenes earlier. There's a lot of things that you told me that, you know, I didn't know. With like some of these guys are not in the best of shape. Guys that we grew up watching. You know, I'm not gonna say any names now, but this thing is needed. I'm glad you're involved, brother. I appreciate that. And we definitely want Mike McCallum in the Strong House. Definitely.
Yeah,
we definitely want.
I talk to Mike every day, and he's excited that I have these fighters for him. And again, like I said, he had Devin Haney. He was working with Monty Barrett. You can just check his history. That's why they call him the body snatcher. And he told me how he got really right when he got with Eddie Futch and Georgie Benton. That's what turned the corner for him in his career. So he's just passing that torch on, and he's going to continue on. And last but not least, back to the fighters, there's a couple of guys that are down and out, living in their cars, living in flop houses. And they're not going to get all the equivalent money, because you can't have a guy fight 2 or 3 fights or a year and a guy fight 20 years and you both give them the same amount of money. But what we're going to try to do is a sliding scale where they'll get anywhere from a couple of hundred to up to 400 or 500. And then at least they can get some supplements from the government, from food stamps and other health aids, but at least they'll get a couple of dollars in their pocket, so they don't have to be panhandling, they don't have to be sleeping in their cars, they don't have to do any robbing. Or some guys were eating out of garbage cans, and it's sad because these were the lifeline and the bloodlines of the fight game for the last 50 years. And it's sad how these guys go out, because a lot of them have dementia, they don't know what's going on, but at least if they have a couple of dollars coming in, they can survive.
Yeah, when you told me the names of, you know, fighter in particular living out of his damn car, that broke my heart just now. That's probably why I fucked up my intro.
Well, what it is, it happens to a lot of us. You know, we go up and down that ladder. One time, my man Mike, even though he was never broke, but I read an article in the paper. I don't like to dirt nobody. They said he was worth $5,000. This is about 10, 15 years ago. That should have been impossible for a man that made over $700 million in the ring. How could it be worth $5,000? So I mean, somebody was stealing his money. See, what a lot of people don't know, there's a guy named Shelly Finkel. Let me just tell you the story that Donny Lalonde told me today. You guys will like this. He said, Shelly Finkel is the guy's rich guy, and he might even be a billionaire. Years ago, when those guys came out of the Olympics, he tried to set up a fund for them all to have something at the end of their careers. Only one guy stood up and said, okay, you can invest some of my money, and that was Mark Breland. All the rest of the guys said, no, we want our money now. Now Mark gets $100,000 a year for the rest of his life. See, he was smart. So this is what guys got to do. They got to put a little aside. And Donnie said he didn't do it. He said he made millions. He made 30, 40, maybe 50 million. And he said he kicks himself every day, but he's back on course now. But if he'd have put something aside for today, 20, 25, 30 years later, he'd be living high on the hog. But it's unfortunate when you're getting the money now, you don't want to hear about tomorrow, because you think you can always go back in the ring and get another payday. And all the greats, the same thing happens. They come back, and not that they embarrass themselves, but they're not the same fighter that they were 10, 15, 20 years ago when they first stepped into the ring. And that's reality.
Man, this is great, man. This is great information, and this is definitely something that we need to keep an eye on. And this is something that is very much needed, man. You know, these fighters need pensions. And like I said, I don't care if it's $500 a month. It's something.
Right.
It's something, you know.
Because in these time of days, I don't know, I've been to the grocery store. I bought a couple of items the other day with $50. It's not the same.
Come on, man. A dozen eggs is like $9. Like right
crazy.
Now. It's
so you need really something coming in. You need some kind of money coming in that's a surety, so you can just put, as my mama would say, get the wrinkle out your belly. You need something, because a small percentage of something beats 100% of nothing. But just to close on my thing, I'm going to continue on with my guys. I'm going to have a lot more information in the next segment. And if you guys ever need me, you know how to get in touch with me. I'm on Facebook, or they can email me, mileswbilly7@gmail.com, or ringsidevipboxing@gmail.com. And just you guys, any way you want to get a hold of me. So, but again, I want to come on the next show and really light it up. This was just an appetizer to get you guys going. So the next time I come, it'll really be through the roof.
No doubt, man. So you know what? Let's set up to get McCallum on here. Let's set that up. Let's do that.
All right. Whether you want to do it next Sunday or the Sunday after, I'll let you guys make that call, because what I'll do is sit back and get my guys ready. And I also maybe would try to get Donny Lalonde, because he was so excited because he's living in Costa Rica now, and he just doesn't travel. And the last time I saw him was at Holyfield's inauguration 2017. We took a whole bunch of pictures, and he was telling me about stuff then, because when me and Holyfield were trying to get the promoter's license, and that's another story I want to get into. We could have been really on our way, but we brought in some of the wrong people. So I had a chance to get with Steve Wynn from the Bellagio, but we got with another fella, and it just went sideways. But again, I'm back. I know how to do it this time. I made a little navigational error. Now I know what to do, but I'm going to keep Mike with me, my trainers, my team, all the people, Terry Hollis, Marcel Brown, the whole global team. And we're going to be trying to do shows every quarter, which is every 3 months. And then my promoter, Amor Black, she's going to be in there because she's a public relations woman, clean as a whistle, so she'll get the license, because in Vegas, they don't give out those licenses. You got to be really like no affiliation, this, that, nothing wrong, and blah, blah, blah. Even though I'm a clean guy, but they don't look at it like that, because I know so many people from the bottom and the top. They just want it, whatever your record says, that's what they go on. So, but this is what we're going to be doing to make this thing go, to bring boxing back. And also, the best want to fight the best. No more of this, I don't want to fight this guy. Listen, if this guy is ready, like how Tank and Devin, get him in there. I know we ain't going to get him in there right now, but we're going to push to get him in there, because we don't want the Pacquiao-Mayweather situation 5 years later, even though it made a whole bunch of money, but it wasn't the same fight it would have been 5 years earlier.
I agree. So you're trying to do 4 events in a year, in the calendar
easily.
year.
I'm going to probably do more, but I'll just say that because I don't want to say something and don't do anything. People look like, oh, he's a fraud. But that's easy for me, because I'll have my hands in so many different pots with different people, because I want to give the fans and the crowd what they want to see. They want to see exciting bouts, and that's what it's about. Right. You don't want to see, here, there, like how the Spence and the Crawford thing. That thing should have been gone, but it's not going. I don't know what the problem is. I kind of know, but I haven't really gotten to the loop yet to get to the bottom. I know both of the gentlemen, so I don't know where it's at, where it's going to go, and I hope it goes before it's too late, because once either one goes up too much or they get too old, it'll fall apart. Or if somebody unfortunately takes a loss, then it'll knock the luster off what it would have been.
Right.
See, you got to grab the mantle and the baton and run with it right now.
Right. Well, here's what we're gonna do, man. Let's work, brother. You bring him to me, and I'm gonna promote the hell out of it. You know what I mean? And let's get to work, man. Let's get to work. Let's do it.
Well, I don't know with Sunday, next Sunday, but what you guys do, you figure it out. What you want.
Next Sunday, bring McCallum on here. Let's do that now. Bring Mike McCallum on here. Let's chop it up for real. Get me his email, and we'll get on the phone, and we'll set everything up, and we'll be here to cook.
Okay, my man. So I'm going to sign off now. Let you guys go on. I gave him my little 10 minutes, 12 minutes, whatever it was. I hope you guys enjoyed it, but I have a lot more on the next go around, and have the guys that were in there. They can go up and look and see. They can look and see me, but they can see these guys, and what like McCallum did with Julian Jackson and the Cobra Donna Curry, and all the guys that he did battle with. Even when he fought Jones and Tony way after his career, he fought well. So again, he's going to bring it back and help these guys bring boxing back to where it should be, where it will be, and where it's going to be.
Miles, thank you so much, my brother.
Okay, brothers.
I'll talk to you soon.
You guys have a good, God bless. I went to church today, said some prayers, for my peoples. I just want to be out there to make everybody happy and make things go on in this world in a positive, lucrative, good direction. Also help the fighters so they can at least put a couple of morsels in their belly. I don't want to see anybody hungry. That's a travesty, right. Especially the lifeline of boxing for the last 30, 40 years. This should not be happening because there's too much money out there. And we're going to get the bigger people involved. I don't want to say names, but the Sugar Rays and the Mayweathers. We're going to say, come on, guys, kick in. Larry Holmes, the FIST program. Help these guys, because just so people can know, Larry Holmes in his first professional fight made $60 for his first professional fight. So look where he's come from there. So he knows.
Miles, you're already an asset to this community, man. For all the moves you're making, I'll take Miles Bailey over Rick Glasser any day, y'all. You heard it here.
Well, the boxing aficionado, and I'll be back for you guys anytime y'all need me. You know where to find me. I'm on Facebook. You got my email. If y'all want my phone number, just hit me up. I'll talk about boxing and the real stuff. No BS. And if I don't know, I'll lead you to where it's at and what happened. No false stories, no BS. The real deal. Like Holyfield.
Real deal like Holyfield. No doubt, fam, man. I'm going to talk to you, man. Good looking out, brother.
Brothers.
Yes, sir.
One love, and God bless everybody.
Yes, sir.
Right.
That was Miles Bailey, the real Miles Bailey. The brother's well connected. I got some weird shit going on with my goddamn soundboard, don't I? Ain't that crazy? Y'all let me know if the music. Anyway.
Hey, Drew, it can't be just you, man, because my show that I did Thursday night, you know, my beats with Sugar, yeah, on the Melon app. It was crazy. It was doing all kinds of things. It was like the backdrop faded in and out, the music. It was like, it was crazy. And I'm like, you know, you and I did a couple of shows off of that.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden Thursday, it was to the degree that I had to contact them and let them know, hey, whatever's going on, this has to stop. It's like,
come on, man. We paying a monthly fee for this, man. You understand?
That's why I think it's external. I don't think it's us.
It's not us. It's definitely not us. But
there's an effort. There's an effort.
I'll talk to you behind the scenes. Diana Branch just sent me something, and YouTube made some changes, and it's not only the boxing community. It's a lot of people they're taking a crap on, and we're gonna have to alter how we do things in order to be in compliance. And I'll leave that there. Right. Marco, what's good, my brother? You know what I mean?
What's going on? How you guys doing?
We chilling. You said you know Donny Lalonde, right?
Yeah, I've interviewed him. I talked to him. Yeah, his number, all that. Yeah, I know him pretty well.
Yeah, I remember watching him. I remember him watching him fight Sugar Ray. That was in '88. Yeah, that was in '88. He dropped. He sure did. He dropped Sugar Ray, man. He had him.
He told me in the interview. He goes. When I got in the ring with Sugar Ray, he was like, at some point soon, I don't know if it's gonna be the first round or the third round, he's gonna say, "Oh shit, I should not be in here with a natural light heavyweight." Now we all know that didn't happen, but that's what he was thinking.
Yeah, and he was in that fight, man. If you guys never saw Donny Lalonde versus Sugar Ray,
Leonard, yeah.
Sugar Ray Leonard, yeah. Go watch that fight, because you know Sugar Ray was he was coming off of that long layoff. How long was he out of the ring prior to that?
He was out for a couple of years, but here's some, to me, which is one of the most exciting, or not exciting, coolest facts about Donny Lalonde. So, pretty boy, white boy. So he's from Canada, and he
long
grew up in the projects of Canada, which I thought, to me, was just fucking funny. I don't know why that was really funny. But he grew up in the Canadian projects. Yeah, but he would bleach his hair like it was a look. It was a custom made appeal. You know what I mean?
Right.
But he could fight. Yeah. He was like,
he could fight. The general consensus around the hood was, oh, Sugar Ray gonna beat that white boy. Now, I watched boxing, so I kind of knew something about him. And I said, don't write this dude off, man. He could fight. And he went in there and dropped Sugar Ray. And people were like, oh, shit. Yeah, man. And, you know, he made a mistake and Sugar Ray prevailed. But make no mistake about it, that was a fight. That was a fight, you know, man.
I think people don't give Sugar Ray Leonard enough credit for that because he's beating a man who was 2-3 weight classes bigger naturally and knocks him out for a world title. Yeah. That's impressive.
Yeah. But salute to Daniel Lalonde. I want to get him on the show one time.
I got him. Yeah, I got you. Let me know when.
Oh, hook me up. Definitely, man. Salute to Donnie, man. Definitely.
He loves talking about
I wanted to say this, Marco. I wanted to get you on my show.
Oh, hell
Anytime
yeah.
you want. Anytime you want.
The Tuesday Tussle is a great show to invite you to be on. Want to get you on there.
What time?
I usually do that around 8 p.m. Central. Is that a good time for you?
Which would be 9 p.m.
Central,
for us, I
Central.
believe.
What's that for us? 9? Yeah.
9?
Yeah, 9's actually perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, get my info from Drew and hit me up.
I'll send it.
Yeah. Sounds good.
If y'all look in the private chat, I put a name in there. That's who Miles was talking about. If y'all look in the private chat, and that messed me up. I was like, what is going on, man?
Oh,
how?
Shit.
Yeah.
He made a lot of money too, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, he did. He did. He had a pretty good career, man. And I was like, wait a minute, he's what? And
what? So what's up with? I heard him mention Bramble. What's up with Bramble?
There's a bunch of guys that are not doing as well as we thought.
But like, do you know the details with Bramble? Like, what's going on?
I don't know. But apparently he talks to everybody. Miles talks to everybody. And somebody was in my comment section from last week's show who co-signed him, who knows Devin Haney, well, Bill and everybody else. And he's official. Miles is official. And so I'm going to be, working with him back and forth, and I think what he's doing is a good thing. These are things that we spoke about, pensions for these fighters and things of that nature. We're being proactive instead of reactive. We're not rich, but we help these guys by having them on like your show. You and Jeremy, you have them on your show, and people will see a fighter on your show and be like, "Oh shit, I wonder where he's been." You know what I'm saying? But it's excellent to know that they're alive. What their health is like, and us as fans, we want what's best for them.
To me, one of the most surprising things doing this show that my show and be over the past few years that I learned was how many former world champions, some even pound for pound, right? Pound for pound of all time, not the top 5 or 10, but maybe top 20 to 50 of all time. How many of them end up broke or with mental issues like long-term effects from head trauma?
Right.
So many of them, and like they were talking about, there is zero money, there is zero help, there's no insurance, there's no pension, there's no 401k, there's nothing for these people that help generate billions of dollars over the past.
Billions of dollars.
Fucked up.
And they're not. These are guys, all races, cultures, and creeds. Wherever they come from, they're not educated. A lot of them aren't educated on what money is. They don't know. So they come in there and they $10,000 one fight, $20,000, then $50,000, and then you're signing a check for $200,000, and you're thinking you're rich. You don't factor in inflation and long-term shit. You don't know.
Bust this too, though. The referees also make almost nothing. I mean, that's the third most important person in the ring.
Wait a minute. You say what? The referees make almost nothing?
They make very little. Yeah,
which is why these motherfuckers be on the take.
That's a good point.
Boom.
That's a good point. Yeah, and
so it's nothing for Jack Reese. They'd be like, "Yo, look, how much you making tonight? $6,000. How about this? You want to make 50? If our guy gets dropped, slow the count." Look at what Padilla just did. 20 years later, it comes out that he cheated for Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah, the Filipino dude. Yeah,
they don't make no money.
We just had Benji Estevez try to pull some stuff.
Man.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Bro, did you see? All right, let's talk about that for real before we get to Beefy beating the shit out of Chris Eubanks. Salute Art Hostage. I see you, brother. Yo, listen. I went back and watched the fight, and I'm watching. I said there had to have been a headbutt. He was really about to say that cut was from a headbutt. He was really about to do it. In the powers that be, you couldn't listen. The people that were there were saying, "Yo, look, you don't normally go to instant replay, but that was not no fucking headbutt. If you rule this for this guy, Guido, there's gonna be a riot in this motherfucker. Don't do that."
Why don't they institute some shit like football, or where the corner can have 1 or 2, 3 different times throughout the fight when they could say, "No, we go to instant replay for this. I'm calling it in." Why don't they do that?
I have no idea. It's so
because they can't
simple.
uphold the corruption.
They can't. They can't.
Right.
We sat there and watched it in the house, and I said, we saw the punch that did it. What is he? There was no headbutts at all during the fight.
One shot, man. One shot did all of that.
One shot,
and it was in the previous round.
Even if the referee misses it, there should be something instituted where it protects the fighters against shit like that, where they could be called to the replay.
Was that the WBO?
I don't know.
Who sanctioned that fight, Stormy? Anybody in the chat, y'all remember?
It might have been the WBC. I'm not sure.
Man, if it's the WBC, it makes sense. I don't trust the WBC. I don't trust the WBA. I barely trust the WBO. IBF, everybody's on shaky legs.
Yeah.
Matchroom, Top Rank, PBC. I don't trust nobody. I don't trust nobody. Everybody, I'm looking at everybody like this.
Yeah.
Come on, man. That shit is crazy. They really tried to do it in real time. He said, yeah, we got to rule it a headbutt. I said, huh? What? Don't do that. What are they doing? They tried.
Literally every ref that I know that I've interviewed, all have full-time jobs. None of them make money. None of them. You can't. There's no way you can make a living off being a boxing ref.
Do they go by like a fight by fight basis? Do some referees make more than others?
No. It from what I understand, it goes by the commission, because the commission is the one who brings in the ref. That the state commission of that independent state, wherever they're fighting. I mean, I'll give you an example. Arthur Mercanti, who's a friend of mine, his father, Arthur Mercanti Sr., was a real big, famous ref. So was Mercanti Jr. He reffed Ali Frazier, right? At the time, won the biggest thing since a biggest sporting event ever, almost, right? He made, even back then in 1970, whatever it was, with him, he made $300 doing it. So that's the equivalent of making like what, $1,500 today, maybe?
So wait a minute.
And that was 15 rounds too, by the way.
$300?
So maybe 4. I think it might have been 4, but that's it.
Wait. Okay, so wait a minute. They got refs that we know. Mills Lane was, God rest the dead, high profile ref. They would call him to do the big fights. He doesn't get a little more than the ref that does the co-main event?
No, because this is a thing where, like, these guys are doing it out of the love. And they know that. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, well, you don't want to do it, I'll get somebody else who would. They're playing off, they're saving a penny, and they know they can. Until if there was some kind of a union, and they came together, and they were like, hell no.
The refs don't have a union?
No. If they did, they wouldn't be making...
Oh, shit. We're learning something, family. We're learning something. Now, listen to me. Russell Mora was supposed to be the co-main event referee. Jagbar versus in Wilder Fury 3 undercard. They gave it to Ortega. He was supposed to be the referee for Jagbar versus I'm having a brain fart, y'all. The Cuban. Stormy, help me. Frank Sanchez. Right? They elevated him to the main event. They didn't even tell the teams. I told Tay 4 days before I flew out to Vegas. They didn't know. He said, well, Fury got to go and throw. And actually, he knocked him out in the 4th round.
Right.
But the whole time, we was like, wait a minute. Why did they change him in the first place? Well, you see what he did in the fucking 4th round, right? So I said, how did this happen? So now this motherfucker before that, I said, why him? And I said, why do I know this guy? That's the guy. That's Abner Mara's favorite referee. Remember those 400 low blows in Mara's famous fight? That was Russell Mora, y'all, if y'all didn't know. 400 low blows, they never called it. Right? Now, he's retired as a ref, but he's a high, he works for the WBA now. He's an official at the WBA. He's a retired referee, but he's like a judge or something. I forgot what his job title is in the WBA. And we all know what the WBA did with Mike Fox.
Yep.
So there's a whole circle of corruption here. So he had to sacrifice some blood to get a position in the WBA. I want to know what he made that night. Can anyone Google what the refs made that night? And then you had Bob Arum paying consulting fees to Daniel Kinahan. And what did Daniel Kinahan do with that money? The slow count. When Russell was supposed to get that the count from the fucking the timekeeper, and he didn't do it. And Andre Ward said, "Yo, that was an extremely slow count from Morva." Bro, all of this shit, yo, we not making it up. So now I'm finding out these referees don't make no goddamn money. I thought that was like a thing. They were unionized or something. It's not like that.
No, man. No, that is everything. Everybody, boxing, it's outside. Everybody's an outside consultant. Everybody acts as an outside consultant. From the promoters, from everybody. When you don't have an NBA or an NFL or an organization, that's just how shit goes. So there's
Drew, that's why that guy that got out of the can was able to come back into Savannah Marshall's camp. Remember?
Yeah.
He was questioning that. What Marshall just said explains that. Outside entities can come and go. It's like it's like movable parts.
The only law that needs to be followed in boxing is whatever state athletic commission has in place for that specific fight. Those are the only laws that everybody has to abide by. Everything else it's a free-for-all. Marshall's law. Do whatever you want. As long as both parties agree. That's why boxing contracts, which gives us another look, are so difficult and take so long, and so many fights get squandered within negotiation because there's so many moving parts.
I didn't know that. I'm sitting here thinking all this time that they were unionized. You had to fill out an application and take an exam.
Each state might have its own specific criteria for being licensed to be a referee. That does exist, but I know they don't make any money, and I know it's not a thorough thing at all. There sure as fuck isn't a pension, or there's no reason for them to be honest. You know what I mean?
That is fucking insane. That's why I was saying they need to check these guys' bank accounts at the end of the fucking, throughout the year. Just monitor it. Like, yo, where'd you get this lump sum of 10 grand from?
Yeah.
That night you made $3,000, but there was a lump sum of $10,000, and it's coming from where did this come from? Because you got to pay taxes on that. Who is that?
Yeah, I think the referee gets way too much power in general because they have the power to stop a fight early, end a fight, let a fight. Shit that'll just ruin history. You know what I mean? I feel like the power should be more distributed more evenly amongst more people somehow.
I agree, man. Nadal Hussein beat Manny Pacquiao and got robbed by Padilla. He got robbed, y'all. Who knows what would have happened? And automatically when I put that shit up, I get people jumping in my shit. Oh, what do you mean? He wouldn't have beat Floyd, and he wouldn't have did this, he wouldn't have beat. But I said, you don't know what would have happened because it didn't happen. You didn't pick him to beat Manny Pacquiao that day, but he knocked his ass out with a jab. A jab. A fucking jab. Manny was on the floor, flatline, and he had help. And Padilla said, we're trained to do that. Come on, man. Where there's smoke, there's freaking fire, man. Salute to my brother, Mr. Mont, man. Salute, OG. Salute, OG, man. Much love, man. Man, but this is where we at with the sport. This is the sport we love. It don't love us back. So when we start talking about corruption and refs and judges and stuff, I'm not making it up. This is literally 20 years ago with Nadal Hussein and Manny Pacquiao. I say time reveals all truth. 20 years later, this referee admits it. And there's no outrage. Only from us, though, there's outrage, right? We're complaining. Yeah, I want a clean sport. What the hell's going on here, man? I mean, you guys, man.
I mean, let's think about this. Have we ever seen a fight the outcome overturned ever?
Nope.
Not once, correct? Am I missing one? Maybe there is one
No.
I'm missing.
No.
And how many of them should have been overturned?
I mean, when someone pops dirty or something like that, you know.
Right, but that's right. Okay, so we've seen that.
But as far as bad refereeing
or anything besides drugs,
never. I've never seen it. And this guy admitted it, and he's still in. He's still in the Hall of Fame after admitting that? He should go to jail. Think about this, y'all. How many paydays you think Nadal Hussein missed out on because of that one day? He walked around with that shit on his mind for 2 decades. You know, every time he saw Manny, I know it's the classic thing to say, oh, Manny's an all-time great. He's this, he's that. But I know in his heart of hearts, he's like, yo, I beat that guy, man. With a jab.
You know,
I beat that guy.
When I was fighting, you would have to go to the New York State Athletic Commission, which is in the financial district, right? And you would go, you'd fill out your paperwork. Sometimes my weigh-in from my first pro fight was at the Athletic Commission. And you don't realize, like, we think of boxing as this big, grandiose, all this money, this glam. But the Athletic Commission, which controls everything for that particular fight card in that state, I go in the office, and I could just speak for New York, but I'm assuming if New York is like this, picture smaller towns, it was just like 2 people. The Athletic Commissioner, like a secretary, and that's who's making all these decisions and controlling so much.
Now, what is their salary?
That I don't know. I know it's not much.
It's not much. So don't you think, isn't it reasonable to think that they can get thrown an extra couple of thousand? Yo, look, let this guy in.
Sure. Or, you know, Drew, coming from where we came from, people who are city employees generally, especially those jobs, tend to not give a fuck.
They don't care.
They don't care. So it's like, whatever. So it's a very, and that spills over.
Man, look, these guys ain't. Look at that. They effing with the stream already. Look at that. These guys, listen, civil service workers. Only thing that I can say is good about that is that you have a salary, you have a retirement plan, you have benefits, you have a pension. That's always great. But to say that you're rich, negative. There are some positions where you can make a substantial amount of money. But what he just explained to you, but those are just 2 guys sitting in a room, and they're making a judgment call over an event that could be worth millions of dollars.
They approve everything. It goes through them. You know what I mean? And you know, you're a city employee, right? It's a union. So once you're in, it takes a shitload to get fired. So you could, am I wrong?
No, you're right. You have a probation period. Some jobs is 2 years, 24 months.
They know that they don't really even have to be like, they could conduct themselves how they kind of want, because it's really difficult to get fired.
Yeah. So this is what we're dealing with here. So when we talk about corruption, come on, man. Y'all think we was reaching when we said Daniel Kinahan, Bob Arum paid this kid? Because to Bob Arum, Daniel Kinahan is a kid. Daniel Kinahan is younger than me. He's like 44, something like that. I don't know, but I'm older than him. I'm still a kid to Bob Arum. Bob Arum's almost 104 years old. He's literally Mum-Ra, the ever living from Thundercats. Hold on. Where's my shit at?
Thunder! Thundercats!
Right on time. Yes. Ancient spirits of evil. Look at that. That's Bob Arum, man. That's Bob Arum. What the hell does Daniel Kinahan know about boxing that Bob Arum doesn't already know? Why did he have to pay him like $8 or $9 million in consulting fees? What? And then we're seeing all of this stuff. We're like, what? You on mute, Stormy. And we're seeing all this stuff. We're like, what's happening?
He had to pay it for people to be able to go through his no-fly zones. Yeah. You know, and put this in your bag when you're going back.
There it is. Don't ask no questions.
That's kind of pretty before it gets started, ain't it? Oh, froggy money, Gordon, he did right. Cambo.
Go! Hey, I would advise, they probably don't want to do it, but I would advise they double check them old packages of the pins that were shipped to Bob, because if they look inside, they might find something special, you know, and not, you know, used ones, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's
right,
like, hey. But hey, man, you never know, right? You never know.
You never know.
But see, that's why they mess with our streams and stuff. See, because we can talk about these things. ESPN ain't talking about it, right?
They're not.
Huh?
They're not. MTK Global was a juggernaut. When I was in Vegas, there was guys, everyone you knew who was from the UK because they had on MTK shirts. They were everywhere. It's gone now. It's gone. And when we said corruption and this could have happened and that could have happened, y'all called us crazy. $5 million bounty on Daniel Kinahan's head, and MTK Global is gone, and your heavyweight champion cannot fly to the United States of America right now. What you got to say?
Whoa!
What? Come on, man. And now
Listen, I saw a couple of Joyce interviews earlier today. He talking about fighting whomever. He's like, Andy Ruiz, okay, bring it on. He said even if he has the opportunity to fight Wilder, he'll fight him. He said, oh, I would love to fight in Vegas, even though he probably doesn't understand Wilder don't mess with Vegas anymore. But
he come to New York.
Basically what Joe Joyce was saying is he can come. So that means he clean.
He clean. He good to go. I like Joe Joyce. But when Joseph Parker was goofing around with Fury and that COVID went through his camp, and that week he went to the UFC event with no mask, and they said, wait a minute, we thought everybody in Fury's camp had COVID. He said, huh? What? I gotta show y'all something. Because when that happened, I said, wait a minute, what the F is he doing at the UFC event?
Everybody had COVID, but nobody knew it.
Nobody,
all of the guys in the camp was like, what do you mean I got COVID?
What do you mean I got COVID? I got COVID.
F.A. was over there. Anderson was over there. Parker was over there. None of them, to our knowledge, professor have had or come in contact with that.
Nobody. It was like, we got COVID. He had to go to his damn Instagram. Wait a minute, I gotta find this picture. I put up a picture of Joseph Parker's Instagram right after that happened. I'm looking for it right now.
And then remember, he took that down.
Oh yeah, he did.
He took it down, remember?
Oh yeah. Oh, I found it. Here you go. Hey, look at this, y'all. A handful of people gonna understand this. This was Joseph Parker's Instagram as soon as the news got out. Delete. My wrestling heads, y'all understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As soon as the news, he's at the UFC event, and motherfuckers like, yo, don't you got COVID? He was like, huh? Yeah, Fury's camp just closed because everybody caught COVID, and you were there. He was like, okay. Delete. Delete. Yes. I said, look at this shit. Look at that. Now,
oh, man.
Time reveals all truth, does it not?
That's crazy.
I play his theme music, but you know, YouTube's on some frack-a-lack bull. So let's get to what happened yesterday. Margo, did you see the fight yesterday?
I saw highlights.
Now, Remember, we always said that if a fighter comes into a gym and you try to train him to fight like Roy Jones, it's not going to work. I saw him, Eubanks, doing what he was doing in the ring. I listened to what Roy was telling him. It wasn't registering. I think bottom line, Eubanks was so high on himself that he thought he just needed to just show up, and Beefy was just going to kowtow to him. And man, was he wrong. He walked up in there fearless and said, I'm going to knock the bloke out. And I'll be damned. I'll be damned. He flushed him. Now, I got questions about this right here. Has Beefy ever done this to anybody before? Now, it's a UK fight. That is the signature UKI. But I'm wondering, were those gloves checked? Because when he got knocked down, I've never seen Beefy got 37 fights, 20 knockouts. Did he ever was it ever like that? Does he have some sort of punching power that we don't know about? You understand? I'm just asking for a friend because I don't know. That's what we call, yo, Marco, you remember what we used to call that in the 80s? Remember, yo, you got an eye jammy.
Yeah.
The eye jammy. That was an eye jammy, a classic eye jammy. But those are people getting punched in the face with bare fist, not a glove. So I'm just asking. But if there's no foul play, there's no foul play. But based off the highlights, Marco, what did you think went wrong?
Well, so Roy's my boy, as we know, and I don't want to disrespect his fighter too much, but I'm still going to be honest. Eubanks was fighting like he is Roy. Now, I know that's an obvious statement, but what I mean is he was fighting like he was just throwing some blazing hot fire, and then he would step off like, yeah, but it was mediocre, and it wasn't landing a lot, and it was not any speed or power that had, I don't know why you call him Beefy, I want to hear that after, but I'm a roll with it, that had Beefy, upset or worried or you know what I mean? So when you take somebody, when anybody is mimicking, when you're not yourself, and this is with hip hop, with anything you do that you love, that you're passionate about, if you're not being authentic to yourself, you're not going to get the full potential out of it. You're not going to squeeze every drop out of that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think he was acting like Roy, but he didn't have the fire, the speed, the power, or anything that Roy had. So this dude just kept coming straight at him and knew that there was no reason to fear coming straight at him. And eventually he caught him.
You know something, Marco, you make a very good point on that. And there was a fighter who did that a lot, and it started to catch up to him. He didn't do it initially early in his career, but there was a point where he began to do this, and his performances suffered as a result. And you know who that fighter was? It was James Quick Tillis.
Who was he trying to be like?
At some point, he was trying to fight like Ali. And he began to suffer as a result. And he wouldn't get out of it. It was like, I remember when he took on my man behind me here, Holyfield. It was one of Holyfield's first fights at heavyweight. I think might have been even his first, if not second fight at heavyweight after moving up as the undisputed cruiserweight champion. Tillis, who had also taken Mike Tyson 10 rounds in his fight against Tyson, was the first time that Tyson had gone the distance, a scheduled distance in the fight.
Right.
But Tillis was doing these tactics against Holyfield, like trying to lean back like Ali and flip the shots like Ali and trying to dance and bounce on his toe. But all the while, Holyfield was bearing it, beating the crap out of him.
Mm-hmm.
And he ended up getting stopped in the fight. He did it again when he faced Tommy Morrison a few years later.
Mm-hmm.
But earlier in his career, he had some good fights, but he had a tendency to try to do stuff like Ali. But for some reason, a switch went off in his head later that he was Ali, but he wasn't. It was really sad to watch because he was a converted southpaw, which meant that his left hand was his strong hand. And early in his career, he got some knockdowns and hurt people. He had a very good fight against, I think it was Pinklin Thomas earlier in his career. Quick Tillis was, he was a decent fighter when he came up.
Right.
But he was one who did that. And when you started speaking of Eubank Jr. doing what he was doing, it made me think of him immediately. Because you're right. That's exactly what he was doing. And it was exactly how his performance came off.
You're right. I mean, it's like instead, when you're in the ring, as in anything in life, you got to focus on what you're doing. When his focus was more on like, all right, let me drop this lead hand. Let me get this other hand up. Let me mimic all of these mannerisms as opposed to let me fight my fight. Let me hit this guy with a counter. Let me do what I want to do. No, he was focusing too much on mimicking what he thinks he should look like. And that's what I think did him in. Because he's a talented fighter if he does what he does.
Where's the beef?
I had to, y'all. I had to. Yo, Stormy, look what I found.
Where's the beef?
Claire Pella.
Where's the beef?
That's a soundbite, y'all. That's a bar right there. Y'all don't. And salute to Mo Boxing. He said, "Big up, Drew." It was Smith's elbow that caused the bruising on Eubanks' eye. So he hit him with an elbow. In the midst of him trying to get him out of there, he hit him with an elbow. Wow.
Yeah, he was using his head as early as the first and second round too.
Now, who was favored for this fight?
Oh, Eubanks was
favored.
Okay.
Somebody in my chat said they run 3 racks because they picked Beefy by stoppage.
So why Beefy? Why do you call him that?
That's
his nickname.
Oh, that's his nickname.
Yeah.
Oh, because I know you be coming up with some creative shit. I thought that was one of yours.
No, he can't get credit for that one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what they called him. I was like, what? Why would you call him Beefy? So he won, man.
Where's the beef?
Damn.
What I saw was you're absolutely right. He looked like he was throwing some fire and trying. You know how Roy would throw the jumping left and then walk off?
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because sometimes Roy was so fast, he'd hit someone with it and he'd walk off.
And the person would be left thinking, whoa, I just got hit. But Beefy wasn't left thinking any of that.
No. Roy was so fast. Roy was so fast, he would hit you with a leaping left hook faster than a jab. And it's like, whoa, you can't train anyone to do that. You will get them killed. Eubanks is not that athletic to get away with what Roy was getting away with in his teens and in his 20s. Not even in his 30s.
Yeah.
He couldn't do it.
The one fighter that you might be able to say that Roy could train to do that, and I'm not suggesting that Roy train him or anything, so please, you guys, don't think that at all, because I don't want Roy anywhere near the young man, would be Jaron Ennis, because he has that ability to do like what Roy used to do. But he's not as fast as Roy was,
right? But
he has that type of talent where he is in his particular life, his age, and things of that nature. But I want to take it to somewhere where I touched on Saturday night in my post-fight show. I would like to ask you guys, did you notice anything similar about the outcome of that fight, or something familiar about the outcome of that fight that you've seen before?
Are we talking about Roy losing? Because you're going to make me sad. I don't want to talk about that.
You don't want to.
Well, no. And listen, Marco, I understand that, but I'm not trying to destroy him at all. But when Roy began to slow down enough for people to catch up to him, all of his stoppage losses happened similar.
Mm-hmm.
He got caught. I call it the triangle.
Going back, yeah.
But the triangle, where the ring apron post is right behind you, the ring post.
Oh, was it all there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Against Tarver, against Glencoff, and against the Russian guy that he fought. His back was near the ropes against the Russian guy.
Yeah.
But if you look at it, because those were scenarios when he was a younger fighter, he got out of the way of that stuff. Mm-hmm. You couldn't nail him there. But not only did I give that example, I gave two other examples. I gave the example of Floyd Mayweather knocking out Ricky Hatton, and I also gave the example of Deontay Wilder knocking out Robert Helenius. Those scenarios were reversed, meaning that those fighters knew what to do when they got in that triangle area. And it's a certain way, and I stated this before I showed the examples. I said an experienced boxer knows how to get out of these situations. Usually it's a timing thing, because the guy is the aggressor. He's getting you, he thinks he got you, because when you get a guy in a triangle, if the guy whose back is toward the ropes tries to move right, you slide over to your left. If he tries to move left, you slide over to your right. So, experienced boxers, what they do is they'll throw one, if they're a left hook puncher or a right hand puncher, they'll throw their best stuff. But it's not to hurt you or harm you or anything. It's basically to put themselves in a position to get out of the danger zone. Mm-hmm. Check hook if you're a left hooking guy. Right hand if you're Deontay Wilder or that type of guy. He just happened to land on Helenius and ended the fight, because Helenius was throwing a right hook as Deontay threw a right hand straight from the shoulder, almost like a rabbit punch. But he hit him in the face and caught him coming in, and he was going to move up out of there. Mm-hmm. But Helenius went down from the shot. But if you watch the Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao fight, every time Manny thought that he had Floyd near the ropes, Floyd would check hook him up out of there and end up with his back to the center. He did it twice. Ring. He did it far many more times than twice. But he baited Pacquiao, because the guy does all of this work to get you to this area and point. But a seasoned, experienced boxer knows exactly what he's doing, like Floyd. And so you do all that work to get him near the ropes, and then he check hooks you and he back on the outside again. Do you know how mentally debilitating that is for a guy who doesn't have the ring IQ to do something else? If his objective is not more than just to get you against the ropes. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Ricky Hatton ran into, Pacquiao ran into, a lot of guys ran into that. Now take Floyd, for example, and I use that also in the show, when he fought Sugar Shane Mosley. Mosley is the only guy to catch Floyd with a shot that could have knocked him out. He hit him twice.
Yeah.
But Floyd had the wherewithal, though his bell was rung, he grabbed onto Mosley,
held on for dear life. Held
on for dear life until he got his head clear. Even when the ref was saying, break, he was still holding him. Held him long enough that he didn't get a point taken away, but till he got his shape together. And that happened in the center of the ring. So Floyd couldn't go back to the ropes, because that was to Mosley's advantage to do something like that. But what he did was he immediately got real focused on his game now, and he started picking Mosley apart, because Mosley was looking for one punch, and Floyd realized that and started picking up the pace with more combinations, offsetting him and doing. That's ring IQ. So when Beefy got caught in that area,
Where's the beef?
You have to ask yourself, why was he continuously going near the ropes when it was unnecessary? You're the boxer. This guy is the pursuing aggressor. You need the space to move and operate, use angles, and get your shots off and score. That shows that not only does Eubank Jr. not have the ring IQ, but he doesn't have the physical gifts that are necessary to take him out of that type of danger. And I broke that down because it doesn't happen to class fighters. It doesn't. And Roy, it happened to him when his gifts that separated him from other fighters got to the point where it was no longer an advantage.
There it goes. This is just an example of that. The gentleman is me. So I'm waiting for him to come. I'm waiting for him to come. Now he's going to leap in. And
boom. Right there. Right there. Right there. Bring that back. Bring that back. Bring that back. That was perfect.
Yep.
I'm sorry. 1 minute into the round, 2 minutes.
That was beautifully timed.
And now he was charging in a lot, so I wait. Boom.
Boom.
And that's right at the triangle, as you were saying.
Check hook. And also Tank versus Rolly. Same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah. Sometimes you let them, like I let his momentum.
His momentum more than your punch, because that probably wasn't the hardest punch that you threw.
Not at all. And Deontay's didn't look that hard either. But I mean, he's also a freak. But yeah, their own momentum.
That's why, and you guys have heard me talk about boxing being a martial art, because a martial artist understands these things. And when you are trained to do certain things, this is why a person that's being an aggressor, not knowing that you are skilled and practiced in something, they are at your disposal, really. Once they come and present themselves. And that's why they say, don't walk up on a person. Don't, you know, it's like only fools rush in where wise men dared to go, because these things will happen to you. That was a perfect example of what I was talking about. You were in that triangle area, but I would bet $1 to a donut that all you needed him to do was to commit to something so you could do what you wanted to do to get yourself out of that danger zone.
That's it. Yep.
And see where someone unpracticed will skip or run out of there or something, and they can subject themselves to bad things. But a seasoned, experienced fighter understands. You survey the landscape. Okay, here he comes. I'm gonna get him. You know, soon as he that left foot steps at that boom. Now you on the outside, but he on the canvas now because he had no clue. That was a perfect example. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. I just wish I still had the hair. But
that was beautiful, actually.
Thank you.
You know, people notice even when Tank stopped rolling, he said, "I ain't even throw the punch that hard."
Yeah.
I mean, and that's repetition. I'm sure you've done that in sparring.
And you get sometimes it'll surprise you because you know, even when you hit a bag, you know what a hard punch kind of feels like on your knuckles.
Yeah.
And a lot of those don't feel that hard on your knuckle, but boop.
Man, that was and the way you hit him and the way he fell at first, you're looking like, did I hit him that hard? But it's his momentum. If you throw a punch at 5 miles an hour and he's leaning in at 20, he just got hit with 25.
Exactly.
And it's like, oh shit, he didn't even know it. He's like, why am I hurt like this?
And he wasn't thinking defending himself. He wasn't thinking of taking care of himself on the way in, because he came in wide open. It was like he opened the screen door to peek out, boom, and got hit.
And I set him up. Him up. I was
yes, you did.
He's coming. I know he's coming. He was doing it the whole. You know, he was a very aggressive fighter, and that dude could punch hard. By the way, that's a whole separate story.
Well,
but you know what? It's exactly when Floyd caught Ricky Hatton coming in late in the fight. He did that. He set him up. He set him up for that shot. It's just that when he caught him very well, and that was pretty much going to be the end of the fight after that. Right. But again, Manny rushing in there like that, Floyd hooked him all night long when it was time for him to be near the ropes. And see, Eubank Jr. wasn't able to do those things because he was too busy emulating and not boxing. You know, he wasn't doing what Eubank Jr. is supposed to be doing. He was too busy trying to be like Roy. Now, if they were making a Roy movie where Roy gets stopped in the corner or something, that would have been perfect because that's what happened.
Oh, Stormy.
No, I'm not. Again, I'm not trying to. But I'm saying, if you look at his fight with Tarver, that's exactly where Tarver caught him. If you look at Glencoff's fight against him, that's where Glencoff caught him. It was near that area.
Well, the one criticism and those of you who don't know Roy, that's my guy, number one pound for pound ever, in my opinion. I love Roy, but the one criticism I would have was where he would have that propensity to lay on the ropes, cover up, and let people kind of tee off. And I get doing it once or twice to feel what you're working with, kind of feel the power, but he did it a lot, and that was the one criticism. And I've never asked him about that, and I don't think I might, but it's also probably a sore subject because he lost a few times doing that. So,
but I think I'll tell you, he would probably never admit to this, but in some dark area of his reasoning, he probably thought that was him being a tough guy.
Maybe.
And yeah, and like I said, he probably wouldn't admit to that. But I'll tell you something. The toughest thing is to do the proper thing, and that's not let the guy hit you at all. Huh? That's the toughest thing. Yeah. Now, the frustration is, dang, I can't hit the guy. Now he's frustrated. Now he's like hesitant. He's in your hand. You got him eating out of your hand now. And see, he was so much faster than other guys, and the talent separated. It was like he would get lazy, But then when those gifts began to wane, he couldn't see it because we never do, huh? When you look in the mirror today, even though you don't have the hair that you used to have, and Drew talks about he got more gray down here than up here, right? So it's like when you look in the mirror, me too. I look in the mirror, I see that guy from 25 years ago. Yeah. I don't see the dude that y'all see today. I see myself the way, because that's the vanity of man. We do see ourselves like that, so we don't see the slippage. But other people be like, damn, he looking bad. You understand? And they ain't gonna say it to your face. Mm-hmm. But that's the vanity of man.
Yeah.
So when you put that together and you understand it, being a boxing trainer and coach or a mentor, you have to tell these people the freaking truth, man.
You absolutely do.
You do. But you don't wait until the day that you got to tell them the truth. You be honest with them from the beginning. That's why Roy had that trouble with Lou Delval, because when Lou Delval dropped him in that fight, and I talked about this too in the post-fight, I said 2 rounds later, he was still talking about it to Alton Murkison in the corner. Alton's trying to give him water and wipe him down and give him instructions. And he's like, man, I can't believe that sucker knocked me down. As if it ain't supposed to happen. Roy, you've been in there knocking other guys down and out forever. Mm-hmm. The fact that you found yourself on the canvas, you're supposed to be thinking, man, let me get my shit together. I can't let this guy get me. You understand? But you worry about, like, with Vanity, oh, I can't believe he dropped me.
It's boxing. He should know that,
He should know it. But again, when people are not honest with you, when people, and like I said, Drew, that starts from an early point. And I can't speak about it enough. Do you know, when I was working with guys in the gym, I had a couple of Latin fathers who bring their sons in, 7, 8 years old. They want to train and learn how to box and stuff. I'm working with guys. There's several coaches in the gym. But when I work with the guys, I make jokes. I talk about them when they make mistakes and stuff, all in good fun because they're young kids and stuff. I made it something where they like it. They enjoy what they're doing. One of the greatest compliments I had was one of the kids. I had stopped coming around the gym. It was when I was taking my break from things. I'm walking down the street coming home from work one day. And there's these 3 boys walking up ahead of me. The one in the middle happened to be the kid that I was training in the gym. But he turned around and he saw me. He's like, "Oh, coach." And he grabs his 2 friends. "Hey, guys, this is my coach, man. This dude is the greatest guy, this and that." They all ran up to me. "Hey, how you doing, coach?" And it made me feel good because I had a positive impact on this kid's life. And the whole point of it was when we were in the gym, I had him feeling something in there, feeling like he was a part of something, feeling like he was doing something. I had his ear. I had his respect. I had things. And there was a lot of people in there that I work with like that. Because when you present it with truth, people, they're not accustomed to that in regular life, right? So it takes a moment. But once it starts to take hold, then they buy into it. You can get a person to run through a brick wall. Just like, the famous football coach, Lombardi. Mm-hmm. He had that sweep play that they would run, Green Bay, and people couldn't stop it because he got every single player on the team, on the line, the back carrying the ball and everything to buy into the philosophy. This is what we're going to do, and we're going to do it so well that they can't stop us. And these guys bought into that, and they were able to be successful for a very long time, not a short time. And that's what that's about. Because when you begin to have success, then that extends over into the productivity. And the productivity matches the success, and the success rises, and then the productivity rises more. It's like it's a chain. And then it becomes a machine. And then when it's the machine, all you got to do is start putting new parts and pieces in place.
That's right. That's right. That's a mic drop right there. Real quick, I got a phone call. Miles called me back. Eddie Mustafa. Y'all know who Eddie Mustafa is. Edward Dean Gregory, before he converted to Islam. His wife died today.
Oh.
Yeah, his wife died today. So, prayers up to Eddie Mustafa. I met him one time when I was in Vegas. I was at the Mayweather gym. And he was there. And I was talking with him real quick. You know what I'm saying? Used to watch him fight on ABC, Wild World of Sports, back then. What was he? I think, was he light heavyweight? Was he a light heavyweight?
Mm-hmm.
Or super middle?
Pretty sure he was light heavy.
Light heavy.
I used to watch him all the time, and when I saw him in the Mayweather gym, I said, "Oh shit!" His name is Eddie Mustafa now, and his wife passed today. That happened today, so prayers up for him. I don't know if he's on social media or whatever, but if he is, just prayers up. That always that sucks, man. That fucking sucks, man. Yeah, man, but boxing, please. Back to this.
Where's the beef?
I mean, look at this, man. Look at that. That's crazy. Listen, man.
Where's the beef?
Listen. I did not think that this dude was gonna lose like that, and he entered the ring like, "Yo, I'm gonna win this." He's gonna bow down to me, and Beefy went in there and said, "Nah, man, hold my spring water," because I doubt he drinks. Fuck that. He's from the UK. Of course he drinks. You know what I'm saying? And he knocked him out. The scary part was when Chris got up off the floor and he wobbled over to him. You know what I'm saying? Listen, man. I don't know what the all right, the atmosphere is Eubanks is the good guy going into this, because the only reason why this is happening is because Naju Ben's son, Connor, dropped the ball. He couldn't keep the needle out his arm. You understand?
Yeah, Ben Marine.
and these guys. And I'm like, you already know how I feel about cheaters. So I think he went into this fight too relaxed, didn't respect them, and the inevitable happened.
Well, there's also another part to look at that, because he was draining himself down to face Ben, right? And then the Ben fight got canceled. And I don't know how much time he took off in the gym, but this fight got made because that Ben fight was supposed to be October. This is January. So he still had another camp, for this fight. His body might have been just worn out.
How the fuck was he going to fight Ben at even lighter?
Yeah, I think they were supposed to weigh in a catch weight of 157.
How the fuck? Yeah.
And he's been at 168, right? He had been a guy fighting at super middle. So it's like that. He's asking and getting older. He's 33 years old. So you're asking yourself you're asking your body to do some things that you shouldn't be trying to ask your body to do at that age.
Let me ask y'all this. And Mo Boxer said Eubank drained himself. It's clear to see he isn't 160. And I agree. Let me ask you something. This is this. Well, it's a two-part question. Is this a Lewis Rockman situation where he wasn't supposed to win, but he won? And will we see different in the rematch?
Is there a rematch?
Yeah, there's a rematch.
There's a rematch clause. There's a rematch clause, and Ben's gonna have Eubank, is gonna have to, decide whether he wants the rematch.
This was for no title, right?
No, it wasn't for a title, but they understood that this is a big fight over there. You know what I mean? So they knew that they can make good box office off of it, and if it happened to be a great fight or something like that, it was Eubank who put the rematch clause in, to believe it or not. He was the one that had that, so he has to decide whether or not he wants to come back. But no, Drew, I don't think that it's a hot Rockman Lewis type situation. I do feel that he needs a long rest.
Okay.
He needs a long rest. And then when he does decide to come back to the gym, they need to abandon the Roy Jones project. He could still have Roy Jones, but bring someone else in there that's going to help him defensively and things like that.
Who was he? What kind of fighter was he prior to getting a hold of Roy?
I was going to say,
unorthodox brawler type guy.
And that's what I was going to say. If he comes forward at this dude in the rematch, he should take him out.
Yeah, because he looked naturally bigger. And the other thing was, keep in mind, Roy Jones came off the best performance I ever seen when he fought John Ruiz, because he was a smaller guy, cat and mouse thing, but he had enough power to keep Johnny honest. And he lost 25 pounds of rip. And I forget how long between the Ruiz and Tarver 1 fight, but he lost 25 pounds or so of pure muscle.
5 months?
Yeah, it was only like 5 months.
And it showed, man. Well, I've never seen Roy tired like that. It showed.
He says, to this day, he claims it just drained him. And he said he should have waited a couple of years. He said, too, first time he told me he should have waited a year between.
Yeah, I believe that.
Second time he told me, he goes, now how I see how people talk about me, and this kind of made me feel sad, but he goes, I wish I should have just quit after I beat Ruiz. He's like,
yo, Marco, you know what? I mentioned that a long time ago. I said, if Roy retired then,
he'd be the greatest. That's the sunset.
He'd be one of the GOATs. And you know what? Tarver right now, Tarver would be running around talking about how to beat that guy, and we'd have been looking at him like, yeah, right.
Exactly.
You wouldn't have beat him.
You're not no chance in hell, right?
If Roy walked away, I wouldn't have had a problem.
But one can argue, Drew, that what made Roy so great is that quality of him not being able to walk away as well. So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah. But looking at the trade-off of what happened later.
Right. He should have walked away. But it's that drive, that competition that made him as great as he was. He just lost. And I tell people all the time, Roy was 35, 36 when he lost to Tarver. Now, for somebody who had been fighting since he was 10 years old, that's a lot of mileage.
A long time, man.
And don't forget, back then, you guys remember, we're all about the same age range. Back in the 80s and 90s, 30 was, you're old.
You're old.
Remember that?
And how about this aspect of it? John Ruiz was a tough style and a tough individual to beat. I mean, David Tua caught him real clean and cold early, real quick. The bell rang, and so did Ruiz's chin.
Yeah.
He was a pain in the ass to fight, though.
Holyfield beat the guy and then got into a back and forth and decided to give the guy a couple of more chances and rematches and stuff. And each fight got worse and worse for Holyfield. It was like, you got through the first one, and then you go out there and give the guy a couple more chances. Man, when Roy beat him easily.
Convincingly.
He sure did, and looked like $1 million doing it. Yeah. He looked good at heavyweight, for the weight that he came in at and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a great performance. So yeah, I could have seen him walking away at that point.
Kirk Johnson, when he was here, he said that I asked him what happened because if y'all remember, it ended in a DQ. He had he had Johnny Lowe a few times, and it was academic. They just stopped the fight. But Kirk said, look, the guy just had a style that it was annoying. There was something he kept doing in the ring, man. And another guy that beat John, in my opinion, not like Roy, but he beat him, in my opinion, was James Toney. Toney beat him.
He did beat him. He just the drug,
he
steroids.
popped dirty, and if you go to BoxRec, it's ruled a no contest now.
Yeah, but he did beat him, and I don't think anybody think it was he didn't beat him, like in terms of.
No, not back then, because out here, you know what I found strange about Ruiz in New York? I would have swore the Puerto Rican fan base would have gotten behind him, but they didn't take to him for some reason. I don't know why.
Some weird New England shit. I don't know. We don't like New England.
Yeah, probably. They didn't claim him like I thought they would.
He wasn't very, Boricuas, at least in New York, tend to be kind of more outgoing, more flamboyant. You know what I mean? And
he was called the quiet man.
Yeah.
He was a quiet man, but he didn't even walk to my knowledge. He didn't walk with the big old flag. He didn't rep like that.
Exactly. He didn't do any of that shit.
So they didn't really like claim him like that. I was looking for it.
He was boring as shit too, let's be honest.
Yeah, he was an eyesore.
It was bad.
1-2, grab, 1-2, grab, 1-2 grab. Yeah. I was actually
one fighter that Lennox wouldn't fight too.
Yeah, he was a pain in the ass.
I don't blame him.
John Ruiz was a pain in the ass, and I'm not talking bad about him because it worked for him.
Yeah,
it really did work for him.
Lennox called him Johnny Louise.
Yeah, he I remember when he fought Galata. Galata almost had his ass out in the first round.
Yeah,
he almost had him out. He dropped him like 2 times.
Talk about steroids.
Yeah, whoa. But I mean, Ruiz was a pain in the ass to watch because it's like, oh God. The guys that gave him trouble was the guys like Roy Jones, lateral movement, counter punching. James Toney didn't let him clinch. If you look at David Haye, when he fought David Haye, he went to the UK and fought David Haye. David Haye beat his ass. David Haye, and that was actually against John Ruiz. That was one of the. David Haye has 2 good performances that I can recall. One was against Johnny Ruiz. The other was against Nikolai Valuev.
That's when he won the title. Didn't he win the title?
I believe so. And I was like, okay, that David Haye, he missed out. I would love to talk to David Haye because David Haye, he was on the brink of doing something to turn some heads.
pretty motherfucker.
Yeah. He had the looks. He had a physique. I could see him selling some seats over here. I see the girls, tapping into him and getting that audience. He had a marketable look and he could fight. But the injuries. He signed to fight Tyson Fury.
He even had one thing that I was a little envious of. You ever see him do that rope climb?
Off the seat when he was sitting down?
Yeah, like when Bruce Lee was doing the Into the Dragon, but the opposite, going down, right? The rope.
Yeah.
David Haye going all the way up to the rafters on the top.
All the way up to the rafters,
fully extended, in a seated position.
Right.
That,
That's
when I had gym in high school, I had a whole hell of a hard time with that stuff.
Oh wait, I'm about to make you mad, Stormy. Read this comment.
I never said that.
No. David Haye wasn't that.
No.
But there was a market there. I was watching. I wasn't hating on him. He signed to fight Tyson Fury. In the week of the fight, he blew out his shoulder or something. I was really curious as to how that fight was going to play out, man. I was really curious, and it was downhill from there. He was trolling Vladimir Klitschko. He got his shot, and he blew it. And then he takes off his boot in the ring, and his toe was looking in the other direction. Yeah, I broke my toe. I'm like, bro, come on, man. He's fighting with a broken toe, Mr. Glass. Goodness, man, this guy, man, oh my gosh, man. But I was watching David, but he blew it. Now he let Shannon Briggs run over there, and he went from trolling Vladimir, and now Shannon was chasing him all around the UK with no shirt on. That was funny. He should have just fought him, man. He should have just fought. Yo, man. Yo, Shannon Briggs. Yo, he took trolling to another level. When he got on that goddamn boat and went out into that lake, and he saw Vladimir on the paddle, and he circled him with the boat, and Vladimir fell in the fucking water. Yo, I couldn't take that. That shit was funny. He's like, "Oh, you crossed the line. Now you crossed the line." I said, "Oh my God!" When Vladimir fell in the fucking water.
Yeah. What about when he was sitting in the restaurant eating? Remember? He came in there and started eating off of Vladimir's plate. What's up, champ? What we eating, champ? I was like, this dude is crazy.
Oh, man.
Some might argue he was the OG boxing troll. Who did it before him?
Ali.
True. Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Ali.
Ali was a troll before we even had a word.
Good point. Yeah.
It'd be like 30 degrees outside in front of MSG. Shannon's out there with no shirt on. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Let's go, champ. I'm like, bro, all right, man. Damn. That was crazy, man.
It's sad that he developed that personality to do those things later, because if he had done them earlier, he would have been the guy to be marketed out there.
Well, I don't know if you remember
his fight with Lennox, man, where he almost got lucky against Lennox.
Almost.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember, but Briggs had a deal with Guess. Do you remember
that? He did.
That's some shit. Back then, no fighters were getting deals with. I mean, Guess was a big brand.
He was also on an episode of New York Undercover.
Yes.
He was on an episode.
One of the rosters, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
He was on the episode.
Shannon's my boy. I talked to him a lot.
We were supporting him heavy up here, man. I was happy to see him get some work, man. I was watching the night he fought Lennox, man. And when Lennox beat him, I was like, man, Lennox is something else, man. Lennox is something else, man. Lennox is.
I asked.
He actually had Lennox running in that fight when he hit him with that left hook, and Lennox stumbled, and he ran after Lennox, and Lennox was running away from him.
Yeah, literally almost with his back turned.
I asked Jamil McClain, right? You guys remember 6'7", whatever.
Big time McClain.
Yep. I go, well, LI, Strong Island. I asked him, who's the hardest punch you ever been in there with, and he didn't even hesitate. He goes, Shannon Briggs by far. Then he said, Drew, I know you're gonna like this one. He goes, until right at the end of my career, I was sparring with this new kid from like somewhere in Alabama. This kid hit me so fucking hard, I didn't think it was humanly possible. Wilder. But he said Wilder and Briggs are the two hardest. And Wilder at the time was just starting out.
Just starting out.
Yeah.
And Dave, what up? Yeah, he and Jamil came along at a very came along at a moment where America was looking for the next big heavyweight.
He's a big boy.
And Jamil is what was it? He was 6'6", like a net, like 250.
No, he was close. He was a 283. He was a big, and he was in
dude.
prison, and he lifted and got big in prison.
He was athletic as hell.
He has a crazy story. He grew up foster care, grew up he was raised by nuns, straight up in a nunnery on Long Island.
Oh man.
Yeah, and then there's a crazy story. Now this dude he's very wealthy. He's invested in some shit that I don't even know how to explain it, but something to do with online currency. Whatever it is, he's doing very well after boxing. Because he made a lot during boxing, and this goes to what we're talking about. He made way more money than many of the greats because he was such a big dude, and people just want to pay to see somebody like that fight.
You know what? I almost went to the fight when he fought Sam Peter. And if there's anything I want to talk to him about is that fight, because he had him.
Yeah, he wobbled him, right?
He had him. He knocked him down.
Mm-hmm.
He had him. And I said, oh, he's going to finish him. And I don't know what happened, man. He let him back in the fight, and Peter won on the cards. I was like, God damn.
You know, I don't like Peter because of what he did to my boy, but
I know, bro. I know. That's how I got to know Sam. When he did
that's
that.
how everybody got to know Sam.
Yeah, man. I said, man, I thought Jeremy was going to box his face in, and Jeremy made a mistake.
What did he say? No one can take my power.
No, who next?
Yeah.
NECKS. Who next? Who next?
Yeah.
I said, who's this fucking guy, man?
I told Jeremy, though, I was like, I remember calling him, and I'm like, why are you fighting this guy? I'm like, you got nothing to win, nothing to gain. You beat him, you're beating an up-and-comer. You lose, you're losing to what are you doing? But, you know, at that level, at point in his career, he should have just been fighting for titles, not up-and-coming lions.
Right.
But,
and, you know, Sam, you know, here today, gone today. You know, Sam is another guy I want to talk to.
Yeah.
You know, he says when he went out to fight Vitaly Klitschko in Germany, I heard he got poisoned.
I've heard that. I've heard a bunch of fighters say that to me for their losses. It's possible.
Yeah, you know, he ate their fruit basket, and then they were trying out that new thing where you announce the scorecards midway through the fight, and he was down, and then he just told him to stop the fight, and he quit on his stool. You know, and I was like, oh man, you know, but he said he got poisoned. But that was another guy. They were looking for the next big thing in the heavyweight division, and they tried. They ain't panning out for him. But I was really excited about Jamil Big Time McClain. He got in there with Vladimir Klitschko, and you know, Klitschko just imposed his will on him. You know,
Michael Grant had a similar story to him. It's, you know, Michael Grant had literally had somebody come up to him. It was like, you want to box? And had somebody take him. I don't think Michael Grant had one amateur fight and just saw the size and saw the athleticism and just turned him pro. Like, what he said, I think it was, what did he tell me? It was like at a mall or some shit. Some dude just saw him. It was some shit like you see in the movies, but it really happened.
Yeah, when we spoke to Michael, he said there was a lot of things about his career that he would change. One of the things was the damn Lennox Lewis fight. He said he took that way too early.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the build up to that, and it didn't live up to it.
No.
When he fought God, what is this kid's name? The kid with the cornrows. Forget his name, but he beat him too. It was crazy. And then when he fought McClain, the first exchange on the first bell, you know, Mike goes down, and I think he hurt his foot too.
Yeah, he broke his ankle or something.
Yeah, it was something crazy. So, you know,
he fell awkwardly.
Mike had a pretty good career, and then, you know, he goofed up, you know, with some of those moves he made. But again, he's a big, strong guy. And when he's one of those guys, when he landed his right hand, it was curtains for you.
What was interesting about the talent that Michael Grant had was he was a lot like this kid Fondura. You know, Fondura can fight on the inside. He can fight on the inside, close proximity. He'll wear you out. And that was Michael Grant's strength. But he didn't know how to box from range. And that was his downfall, because the losses that he had people got to him before he could get close, you know, and it's amazing that it happened like that. His fight against Lennox, all he was doing was winding up and swinging wildly, and Lennox just took his time and took advantage and exploited those openings. But he needed some more seasoning as far as boxing. He needed to be able to fight from mid-range and distance more, and they didn't do that with him. I know they rushed him. They looked at him. He was a big, strong guy. You know, it's like, oh, this could be the next heavyweight champ. But he didn't have the type of fights that could present that to him.
This was round one. First exchange. This was round one.
Yeah, he fell on the foot. He fell on it.
First damn exchange. I was like, what the hell just happened? That's Tony Weeks. You notice he still got the flat top in the partner's head from 1989.
Did he drop? Was that a jab that dropped him?
Now that was a left hook.
Oh.
He was done. His ankle was all messed up.
Yeah.
And
he could punch. He could punch hard, but he would just gas out because he's so big.
he was doing the right thing. He's trying to hold on. Nah, his ankle was messed up. His ankle was messed up. When he fell, that was crazy. And that was the fight. That was the fight. And I was like, God damn. And then I was looking like, who's this guy, Jamil McClain? And, you know, he had a good run. HBO invested some time in it. After that, he fought Lance Goofy Whitaker. You remember Lance Whitaker?
Mm-hmm.
Lance Mount Whitaker, Goofy Whitaker, whatever you want to call him. And, well, he was like 6'7". He was another big guy.
Big guy, yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, he ain't pan out. So we was looking for these guys. We was looking for the next one.
You remember Derek Jefferson?
Yeah.
No, really, put it.
He had that knockout. I interviewed Mo Harris not too long ago, and he had that knockout against Mo Harris. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was when Larry Merchant famously said, Derek Jefferson, I love you.
I love you. Derek Jefferson, I love you. That was a scary ass knockout too, man.
Yeah.
That was scary. I mean, whew, my goodness.
But when he fought David Izon, that was really funny, man. Because he was looking for a place on the canvas to lay down. He was like, he dove to the canvas because he was so tired against David Izon.
Did we have David Izon up here?
Huh?
Did we have David Izon on here?
Yeah, we did. He was on with Omar Shika and that night when we had all of them on. And we didn't even talk about that.
You bring that up.
We
Damn.
missed an opportunity to talk about it, but
damn.
His fight with Derek Jefferson, it was hilarious, man. Because you know Derek Jefferson always came out trying to knock people out right away, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And he got tired, and Izon just started putting it on him. There was one point in the ref had called time, and Jefferson was holding on to the ropes like this and had his other glove on his hip like this, and he was breathing so hard. He was like, man, y'all gonna stop this or what?
Y'all can't see I'm breathing heavy? God damn it. That's amazing. Well, yo, we gonna get out of here, man. Marco, let everyone know how they can catch up with you, brother.
Well, I got a podcast called The Champ and the Chump. I'm the champ. Jeremy Williams is the chump. I'm on Champ Chump Pod. I'm on Instagram, YouTube channel, all that stuff. I got my personal one, just Marco 3_ boxing. I do shows similar to this one, you know, weekly, bi-weekly. We've been focusing a lot more on legends. It wasn't scripted that way, but that's how it's been coming out. We've talked to a lot of legends. I mean, we talked to, you know, Tiafimo recently, some current guys as well. But
I saw that. I had to skip on that because
I know you're not a fan. I didn't realize a couple people were like, sorry man, I didn't watch that one. I'm like, I'll tell you one thing. Out of all the interviews I've done, the most hate I've seen came out of that one. People leaving YouTube comments during the thing, people shitting on them. It was a lot. So I don't know. I guess there's
with Tiafimo.
Yeah, there was a lot. I mean, it's more than anybody I've ever talked to. That's the most I've seen people shit on a guest I've had.
I'm telling you, people don't like that kid.
I see that now. I didn't realize.
Yeah, I told you. It's not just me. I'll put your link in the description. Y'all make sure y'all go subscribe.
Thank you, man.
You know what I'm saying? He got this brother's well connected. Just look at the videos. You know what I mean? And got a lot of interviews there. Follow him on Instagram. A lot of interviews. Yeah, I need you to put me in contact with Big Daddy Kane. I'm gonna do a hip hop show real soon.
Oh yeah, okay. I'll let him know. Yeah,
yeah.
that was dope.
That
CL
was real
Smooth
dope.
I did too. Did you see that one?
With CL Smooth?
Yeah.
I
Big
see
box.
CL Smooth often, man. He's a Bronx native.
You know what I just did too? Aries Spears.
Oh yeah?
Big. I did it 3 days ago. Huge boxing fan.
I missed that.
I'm gonna put it up. Yeah, you did. I'm gonna put it up. I think I'm gonna drop it tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Drew, you should send him that link to our Nerds on Culture where we did the breaking and that show.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure Marco would enjoy that.
All right. Yeah. Let me see it.
Let me go to I'm gonna go to your channel right now, Stormy. That was about 3 weeks ago, right?
About a month, yeah.
About a month ago. I'm gonna put the link in the private chat. Let me see.
Nerds on Culture, breaking.
Let me look for it. Breaking. Hold up. Man, there it is. There it is. I got it.
That was a great show, man. We talked
that
about
was a dope ass show. And if y'all miss it, I'll put that in the chat also. If y'all missed that show, there it is right there. You got to be from New York to understand a lot of this stuff, man. Y'all got to be 80s babies at least 80s babies at least. It's a private chat. There you go. There it is.
Yeah, I got it. And hit me, Stormy, if you to come on your show. I'm down.
Okay, cool.
Let me know.
All right, man. Yo, salute to y'all. Salute to everybody in the Venmo, the Zelda Cash App, the Super Chat, man. Much love and appreciation. 78's on. You know, he's doing his dog show. Who else is on live right now? A lot of people on live right now. Are the ladies on right now? Yeah, Queens of the Ring is on right now. Black Vision is on. You know what I'm saying? Go everywhere and smash the like button, y'all. Stop being stingy. We support over here. And I'll see y'all in the AM. And tomorrow, you know, Noise on Culture. Me and Stormy gonna be talking about the famous kaijus.
Yeah.
Some of y'all like, what is that? Giant monsters, Godzilla, King Kong. Yeah, we talking about
all of that. Yeah.
Talking about all of it. So we catch y'all on the rebound. Bronx on deck.
Move! Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.